What's up, everybody? Joe White here as I turn off the truck. Hold on. Come on, turn off. Turn off. There we go. So, we need to talk about Team FTR, formerly known as the Revival, and AEW. Specifically, their interview on the Jim Cornette podcast, the Jim Cornette Experience, which was really good. It was a really good interview. It was a really good show overall. I think half of what they said about AEW is bullshit. And maybe Jim Cornette is working us. Or maybe he does believe the fact that the Revival is not going to go on there and play into the Young Bucks style of wrestling. Maybe he does believe that they're not going to be on Being the Elite. That they're not going to be doing the comedy matches and the cinematic matches. I don't know if he really believes that or if he's working us. But, in my mind, I have to believe that the Revival and their response to, we're not going to do the flips, we're not going to do the comedy, we're not going to be on Being the Elite, we're going to go in there and play it straight, that's bullshit. The whole bit of, we're not buddy-buddy with the Young Bucks, blah, 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 bullshit. They're working you. And Jim, if you really believe it, they're working you too, my friend. I totally expect them to be on Being the Elite within the month. I expect them to do Young Bucks style matches with maybe a little bit of the old school tag team thrown in there. I expect fast-paced matches out of them. Look, this whole thing, they wouldn't be going there if they did not want to work that style. Anybody who signs up for AEW has to know that sooner or later you're going to be expected to do a little bit of the ha-ha. And they even say in that interview with Jim Cornette, we don't mind doing the ha-ha as long as it's not excessively stupid. But you got to, they got Marco Stunt, who my son could whoop his ass. My 11-year-old son could whoop his ass. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Climbing on step ladders. You got, my son the other day, I was watching AEW, and my son walks in the room and goes, is Jungle Boy's gimmick that he's supposed to be Tarzan? An 11-year-old boy is calling that gimmick bullshit. Because I said, yeah, pretty much he's the Jungle Boy. That's his gimmick. And my son looked at me and said, Dad, that's so stupid. My 11-year-old son called Jungle Boy's gimmick stupid. So, for all you 30-year-olds who are my age, and you 25-year-olds who is, they're 18 to 34 demographic, who love that shit, an 11-year-old child can spot that is stupid. What does that say about you if you cheer for it? Now, I like Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and I love the fact that Jim Ross refuses to play into the gimmick. Refuses to acknowledge that he's the Jungle Boy, and that he calls him Jack Perry. Why not just be Jack Perry? He's already good looking. He's got the family pedigree, and maybe he doesn't want to be oh yeah, I'm Luke Perry's son. I don't want that shadow overcasting me, which is fine. But he has the looks and the ability that I think he could just go out there and be Jack Perry and get over. But back to FTR. if people don't think that they're buddy-buddy with the Young Bucks and that there's no legitimate heat there, it may have been in the beginning, but I gotta believe that you would not have signed with the company if you didn't want to work with these guys, and if you didn't want to play into their shtick, and if you didn't want to do the stupidity. It can't be just for the money, because WWE offered them a shit ton of money according to those guys, and they turned it down. So Jim, either you're working us or they're working you, and if they are working you, I don't want to hear this crap of 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, a month from now on your podcast where you're sitting there condemning these guys because they're in a promotion that does this type of shit, that does the shit that you hate, that does the shit that you can't stand. And now that these guys are doing it too and playing into it, you're going to condemn them for it. You know what they're getting into. You know what they're going to do. So if in fact you are serious and you're not working us, Jim, be prepared, man, because the bullshit's coming. They're not going to be the Steiner Brothers. They're not going to be the Rock and Roll Express. And if you thought those outfits that WWE were going to have them wear are bad, they may not be wearing the outfits, but if you don't think that they're not going to sit there and do stupid shit in the ring and out of the ring, it's what the company's based off of, for crying out loud. The company was built off of, a group of guys playing in a treehouse. It's just how it is. And that's how come I can accept AEW for what it is. AEW is like Keystone Cops in a ring. That, I liked the football field, frolicking, whatever. I hate whenever they cross football with pro wrestling. Because I think pro wrestling is above football. Anyway. It gets... Wrestling itself is above football. It may not be above it in popularity, but I can remember when I was on the wrestling team in high school, all the football players used to sit there and rag on, oh, you wear spandex. And I always used to say to them, okay, come here. Let my spandex wearing ass stretch you for a few minutes and you won't be saying nothing. And they would back down every time because they knew. They knew that their fucking bark was worse than their bite, and at the end of the day, any of our spandex wearing asses on that wrestling team could have our way with any one of those guys anytime we wanted. So, I don't like when they mix football with wrestling. I didn't like the football jerseys and the football entrances, and the fact that a wrestling ring was only there because it's wrestling. It's the same way I did not like that damn match, that parking lot pissant, barely viewable brawl between Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream last night. But, again, if you don't think that, for all you thinking that they're going to have a serious tag team and that we're finally going to get some seriousness on AEW, you're wrong. Because it's just a matter of time before they start doing the goofy shit. And they start fucking teleporting around the arena. And they start fucking doing the Too Sweet Me's and all this shit. And they're on being the elite and goofing off and jacking off and all this shit. They know what the deal is when they sign there. They know what is expected of them. They know what gets over to that audience. So they're going to do it. And Jim, I'm telling you right now, man, if you think that they're going to go in there and be all serious all the time and not stoop to that level, you're mistaken, because they're going to do what they get paid to do. They know where their bread is buttered now. So, unless Jim Cornette, again, unless you're working us, and if you really believe, like you say you believe, that you really hate that promotion and all the frivolity over there, don't get your hopes up, buddy, when it comes to this FTR business. Because it's just a matter of time before you'd have to turn your back on them too. Because they're right in there in the mix, doing the stupid shit, making a mockery out of the business, etc. Remember, folks, if you see a big rig on the road, like what I drive for a living, give us plenty of room out there. Do not tailgate us. Let us over if we need to if we signal to get over, let us over. Remember, if you can't see our mirrors, we can't see you. And we'll see you down the road.